Hi folks, HR Funk here with another product review that comes about as a result of me checking my email. This time around I received an email from the Onnais company, I believe that's the way you pronounce the name, and Onnais produces a line of security products. Among them are gun safes, and these are interesting gun safes because they have several different means for gaining access to the safe. And here beside me, I have one of the Onnais Iron Pro Max models. This was sent to me by Onnais for this review. And in this video, I'm going to give you a close-up look at the safe. I'll show you what those methods of access are. I'll tell you about its features and functions. And you can see if you think it's going to be something that might fit your firearm security needs. So here we go. And here's our first up-close look at the Onnais Iron Pro Max. And before I open the safe and start to talk about its features and characteristics, I want to mention a couple of things. First off, I'm at a little bit of a loss when it comes to the pronunciation of this company's name because I've never heard it pronounced by anyone who knows how to pronounce it. So Onnais, I'm thinking Onnais, 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 Onnais. That's the way I'm trying to pronounce it. That might not be exactly right, but you can see the spelling right there. Also, Onnais makes a line of these safes. The Iron Pro Max that you see here is the largest of the line. There are several smaller versions, and I'll talk about the size of this later on and exactly what it will fit. But if you're looking at one of these safes, make sure you're looking at one that's going to be large enough to fit whatever you need to fit inside of it, or small enough to fit wherever you need the safe itself to fit. So here is the Iron Pro Max opened up, and when you receive this from Onnais, you get several things. One is a quick start guide to show you how to set everything up. It also comes with 3 keys. Now there are 2 of them in this little plastic bag. I now have all 3 of them in there. But the 3rd key is taped on the inside of the cardboard shipping box that this safe comes in. So if you would happen to accidentally lock the 2 keys in the bag inside the safe, you would have that 3rd key inside the shipping box to be able to gain access to the safe and get your keys and whatever else back out. The last thing is a security cable that you see right here, and I'll show you how to set this up in just a little bit. The safe is powered by 4 AA batteries that fit into a compartment, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this where you can see it or not. This is the cover to the battery compartment right here. It just pops off and pops back on, and there are 4 AA batteries back behind there. Also, you see, maybe, the blue lights there to illuminate the inside of the safe. And there is a soft foam lining all the way around inside, so you don't have to worry about anything getting scratched or damaged from coming into contact with the top, bottom, or sides of the safe. So as I said, there are multiple ways to access the items you have inside the safe. The first is with the key, and obviously that opens just like any other key lock. So if the batteries would die and you don't have a USB-C charging cable handy, you can use the key. Obviously make sure you keep them somewhere that they're easy to get to, and you can access whatever's inside your safe. I mentioned the USB-C charging cable because there is a USB-C cable port right here, and it's probably going to be difficult to see. I'll try to zoom in on it for you, and you can also see these other controls. And I'll tip the safe up so you can see that. So we've got the USB-C port right here. If the batteries die, you can plug a USB-C power cable in here, and that would provide sufficient power in order to open the safe. But that's only for a temporary measure. That's not meant to stay plugged in all the time. Keep that in mind. We also see the add, delete, and reset buttons here. These will come into play when we're programming the other means to access the safe. Another means to access the interior of the safe is with the numerical keys right here, and you can program a code from 5 to 15 digits, and once you plug in that code and hit the OK button, the safe will open up. And I'll demonstrate that, but I'm not going to show you what my code is. And you can see there the safe is open. The final means to access the contents of the safe are with the biometric scanner right here. And with this scanner, you can program up to 30 fingerprints that this can read in order to open the safe. Now, the last time I checked, I only have 10, so you can actually program in your spouse or an adult child's fingerprints or whoever you might want that you want to allow access to the safe. Once that's done, all they have to do is touch the scanner and the safe will open. About the only thing missing as far as accessing the contents of this safe are a way to do it remotely, maybe with your smartphone, that you could punch in a code or what have you to cause it to open up for someone if you were away from home and they needed to access the safe and you weren't there, and for whatever reason you didn't want to give them your code or they didn't have their fingerprint programmed in here. This is very simple to program, and all of this is covered in the quick start guide, and there is also a video on the Onnais website that will indicate exactly how to do all these things as well. The Iron Pro Max has some user selectable features, beginning with the beeps that you might have heard when I press the buttons to access the safe with the code. If you would prefer not to have them beep, you can change that so that it would be silent. Also, if you would prefer not to have the light on the inside of the safe illuminate, you can change that so it stays off. And the last thing I want to mention is there is a low battery indicator. If you're accessing the safe and the red light beeps and flashes 10 times, that tells you the batteries are getting low and it's time to replace them. The Iron Pro Max features steel construction. I believe all of the Onnais safes feature steel construction. And on the bottom, there are holes drilled if you want to mount this to a surface or mount it inside of a vehicle, which is exactly what I'm thinking about doing with this. I'm thinking about mounting it inside my Jeep, and then if I want to store a firearm securely, I would have the safe to put that firearm in. You also get the security cable that I mentioned a little while ago, and this might even be a temporary measure inside of a vehicle, because you can take the cable, once I untie it here, and loop it around something immovable. And there is a notch at the rear of the safe here. We can put that right there and close the safe, and we would have the safe secured to whatever you had the cable looped around. For that mounting I was talking about, I just noticed that inside of the cable bag there are also 4 wood screws, so I could screw this right down to the bench if I wanted to and have it secured to the bench top, and there's no way to access the screws without opening the safe. The last thing I want to talk about is size, because contrary to popular belief, size does matter, and when it comes to the Iron Pro Max, I can just fit 4 full-size 1911s inside of here. So this is not a huge safe that you're going to put a dozen firearms in or anything like that. If these were smaller, if these were J-frame Smith & Wessons, or maybe even something on the lines of a Glock 19, maybe I could figure out a way to squeeze an extra one in there somehow. But you're only going to get about 4 full-size handguns in here. If they're compact handguns, maybe you can get another one depending upon how big or how small they are. But keep that in mind. I would like to see this company come out with a larger version of this that would be adequate for long guns, rifles, shotguns, carbines, etc. But for now, this is the largest model that they have in their line. The Onnais Iron Pro Max sells on the Onnais website for just under $110, $109.99. And they also run sales routinely on there, so check the website and see if there's a discount, and check the information section of this video, because you'll probably find something there as well that'll save you some money if you decide to make a purchase. So there you go, folks. That's going to do it for this up-close look at the Onnais Iron Pro Max. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you're interested in this product and you think you might be making a purchase, be sure to check the information section of this video for a code that'll save you some money if you decide to make that purchase. In any case, as always, if you have any questions or comments about this video, be sure to forward those to me. And until next time, good shooting. Bye-bye.